Morning everyone, it's Julia from Crosspatch. You're not going to see me today, you're just going to see some stuff. When I did the circle bag demo, there were lots of comments on that and lots of people asked me, can you put a zip in it? And you're asking the wrong person really, because I don't do zips until now. But I do like a challenge and I've worked out how to do it. So if you want to know how to make an actual circle bag, have a look at the last video. That will show you how to make the circle bag. But I'm just going to briefly explain why you can't put in a zip normally in a circle bag. So this is from, you'll see this on the last demo. So this is how the bag starts. And to put the bag together, basically you've got to fold up the sides and you've got to fold them each one in like that. So you can't just sew a zip round there and a zip round there, because what happens when you cross them over? Your zip is not going to go across there, if you see what I mean. So as far as I can make out, and you can try and prove me wrong, you can't put the zip in until you've made the bag. So here is the finished bag with the zip in it. So if I show you the top and then I'll show you the side, you can see where it's crossed over and you can see where it's crossed over there. And here's another one, a little one I made in addition to the last lot on the last video. That's just a baby one, it hasn't got a zip in it and it's not going to have a zip in it at the moment. Right, so this one I've made from an 18-inch circle, okay? So I happen to have a stash of 20-inch zips, so I thought I'll try it with that. It's long, you need a zip longer than the actual bag because then you can fiddle around with it. So I've got a long 20-inch zip. So what I figured I would do is make the whole, cover the whole thing in fabric and then try and put it in. So here we are, here's the zip. It's just longer than the camera. So what I've done to make this is done like binding strips. So 2.5-inch strips binding, and just like you would bind a quilt. So 2.5-inch strips, and then I folded it in half and then I folded each side in. So it's like a proper binding strip. It's not on the bias, it's just 2.5-inch strips of fabric, okay? And then I've sewn these either side of my zip. So you basically encase your zip either side with the fabric. Now the easy way of doing this is put on one side, use this nice, I've got this basting tape and it's like 1/8 of an inch or 3mm basting tape. So I put that down on the fabric on that folded side on the inside, and then I stick the zip to it and then fold it over the zip and top stitch it. So do it both sides. Now I've put tabs on the end as well. So to put a tab on the end, I've got 2.5-inch piece of fabric on the end of the zip and I've folded it over the back like that. And then you just pull it up like so. So on the back it's folded over like so. And then fold it again and fold it over. So that one's sewn on properly. All I'm going to do now is fold it over, fold it onto the back, and you've got a proper enclosed zip all ready to go. So you could just stitch this into a top of a bag, but we're going to try and stitch it into a circle bag. Now the only way I could work out how to do it, let's move all these bits out of the way. Here's one of the bigger ones I've made earlier. So let's pretend I'm putting it in this one. Obviously I wouldn't because it's completely the wrong colour. So undo the zip. Okay, so I want the top of the zip. I'm going to turn, that's the right side of the zip, that's the wrong side of the zip. I'm going to find the middle of the zip and I'm going to find the middle of the top of the bag. Okay, and I'm going to put the zip so it's right sides together with the bag So there's the back of the zip on the top here, and I'm going to pin it in place, but I'm only going to stitch it so it goes between that point there and that point there. So if I show you, you can see easier on the lacy bag. So where your bag crosses over at the back is where you want the zip you're stitching to stop, because once it starts crossing over, obviously the zip can't go in two opposite directions. So what I do is I mark on the zip where that point is, and I mark on the bag where I'm going to stitch to before I sew. So where has he gone? There we go. So grab your zip, halfway on the zip is there. Right sides together, pin it all the way around on the top of your bag and sew that side in place. Then you need to turn your zipper over to the other side, and this is where you then have to remember to turn it again so it's right sides together and stitch it on the other side. It becomes a little bit fiddly towards the end, but it sews quite nicely in. Now, if you've got a nice enclosed zip on the end, you could actually leave the zips hanging over each end. I haven't cut them off on this bag, so you can see what I mean. So if I open the zip on this bag, and I'll show you, I've just tucked them in on the inside now. I've stitched mine in place, but I've left them so you can just see how much you've got left over. I didn't want to cut it off, so I could do, when I do Create and Craft next weekend, I'll do the demo live on air, so you'll be able to see it better than on my little amateur phone video. So that bit I tucked inside the bag in there, and then when I'd finished, I've just top stitched along there. So what I'm going to do when I've finished telling you next week is cut that bit off. But you could actually, instead of tucking it in, you could leave it on the top if you want it hanging over and make a feature of it. And again, the other end of the bag, look, that's the other end sticking out there, which needs cutting off. So I've just tucked it in there for the time being. And again, on the outside, I've top stitched it there. So that was as neat as I could get it. I'm sure there's some of you who are expert in zip making who can do an awful lot better job than I've done, but I think it looks not too shabby for a first attempt. Next job is to try and do it on a little one. These fabrics were from the Leather and Lace layer cake, and I've also got some Junk Journal ones. So this one was from the Junk Journal fabrics, and I've managed to get some of the fabrics. So if you look online, I've got some nice bundles here of these fabrics. So these are fat quarter bundles. So that's one similar to the colour I used on that bag. And I've also got all these lovely little bundles. So these are little 10-inch bundles, and they're really cute. They make nice presents. They're all on the website. And the little 10-inch bundles will make these dinky little bags. So you'd need 2 10-inch squares for the actual bag, and then 1 for the handles, and then you've got a couple more left. Have I done 6? Yeah, so you'll get 2 little bags out of one of these bundles. So if you have a look on the website, you'll see those. So it's a lovely sunny day. If you look at the reel I did this morning, you'll see, or should I say the short, you call it on YouTube, you'll see today's sunrise. It's actually pretty for once, and it's not raining. And it's February. Have a great month. Hope to see you next weekend on Create and Craft, Saturday night at 8, Sunday morning at 8. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.